So, Ramana Maharshi stayed for such a long time and got established, got stabilized in the Jnana Sthiti, and this is called the Sthita Prajna. And in the lore of Jnana it's also called Jivan Mukti. Jivan Neva Mukti. He has relinquished all bondages and he is free from all bondages even while he is awake, while he is alive, while he is in the transaction. Whether he is doing action or not doing action, he is all the time in that silence. Shuka Maharshi, the son of Vyasa, got the Jnana at a very young age, just 8 years, 9 years, and Vyasa Maharshi blessed him that you are fantastic, you are so purified, you have that Jnana. And Shuka had his own little doubt, probably my father is trying to please me, and when he starts getting such doubts, then Vyasa Maharshi wants him to get the experience and the accreditation from the great master Janaka Maharshi, Janaka Maharaj. And Shuka is asked to go and meet Janaka Maharaj. And Shuka goes there, and Janaka Maharaj knows that he is coming. So he tells the guards there, don't allow him to come inside. Tell him that Janaka Maharaj is very busy and he is going to come and meet him. So Shuka goes there and sits, and he is waiting for Janaka Maharaj. 1 day over, 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, and he is absolutely untouched. He is in a state of complete Ananda Sthiti, Trupta Sthiti, Shanta Sthiti. But if he had any ego, if he had the smaller dimensions of pettiness, selfishness, he would have become very angry. I am a great Maharshi, I have come here and the king is not coming. He would have become very angry. But Shuka was in a state of the Sthita Prajna. So Janaka Maharaj comes after 1 week and says, I am so sorry that I got so busy, I kept you waiting for such a long time. Please come inside. And he takes him to the palace and puts him with all the comforts, the dance, music, all types of food to eat, and apsaras and other things, with all the available sense pleasures he is kept. And Janaka Maharaj says, please rest here for a few days and then I will come and talk to you. And again Shuka was just in that state, in that silence, and it did not get lured by any of the sense pleasures, and no exotic foods attracted him, and he was just unto himself in the state of silence. As he was waiting there, he just in front of all the luxuries and the comforts and the sense pleasures, he was equally in the state of silence. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, then Janaka Maharaj comes and says, Shuka, these are the 2 tests which you have won, therefore I declare you are a Gnani, you are a Sthita Prajna. But then Shuka Maharaj says, Sir, thank you very much. Now, after all, I have no responsibility. I am a Parivrajak, I just wander around in freedom. But you are a king, king of the kings, emperor, and you have to do several activities. You have challenges after challenges. How do you maintain that wonderful composure, that Jnana Sthiti? How do you maintain? Janaka Maharaj brings a small wick and lights it and says, take the oil wick, go around this palace all the way and then come back. Condition is, you should not see that the flame gets extinguished. It should be burning. Okay? Shuka Maharaj takes that, goes on watching this thing, goes around the palace and then comes back, and Janaka Maharaj says, very good, very good. Now, tell me what happened there, what happened here, what was happening here. I don't know. All my attention was only to keep the flame burning. Now this time you go. You must not only should keep the flame burning, but you must tell me what all are happening all round. Every detail I want. So Shuka looks at this thing and goes and sees what is happening there. One portion of his mind, the inner layer of his mind, all the time taking care of burning up the light, and other mind goes on observing. He goes around and comes back, and whatever Janak Maharaj asks him, every detail he is able to give. Janak Maharaj says, this is what I do. Inside my flame of Jnana is burning. Inside my complete silence and Atma Sthiti is there, and outside I do all my activities. This is working in the Jnana Sthiti. And therefore, a person may be in full of activity, discharging the duties and several other things. Still, he may be a great Gnani. Naturally, Rama gets a question. He asks his great Guru Vasishtha. That he says that who is better of the two? A person who is in the forest and does his meditation and gets into the Jnana Sthiti, establishes himself in the Jnana Sthiti, he becomes a Sthita Prajna, Jivan Mukta, and one day he is winding up his body and merges with the totality. Another person in full of activity like Janak Maharaj, who is better of the two? Rama had a thing that probably this is better, Janak Maharaj is better than the other. But what is the answer that Vasishtha gives? Look at, very, very interesting. Vasishtha says that you take that person who is in full of activity like Janak Maharaj and isolate him, put him into a forest where there is absolutely no support, nobody to take care, no paraphernalia, no comforts and nothing whatsoever, and see what happens to him. Similarly, a person like say Uddalaka, who was all the time in that mendicant, in the tapas and other things in the forest, isolation, bring him, make him the king or the emperor like Janak Maharaj and see what happens. Problems after problems, hundreds of problems. See what happens to him. If a person who is in activity goes to silence, then he is at equal ease. If he is having complete blissful awareness as he was there, here also it is same. Similarly, the person who is in isolation, put him into action, whether he can be with equal ease in the activity phase, then both are Sthita Prajnas. But if the person who is in isolation, he comes to the active phase and he gets lost, then he is not a Sthita Prajna. So this is the comparison that he gives. Therefore, in Jnana Sthiti, you have the complete mastery. Whether you are in activity, whether you are in not activity, you are immersed in that inner silence and it matters not. Atmani Atmana Tushtaha. Completely happy unto himself. Happy unto himself. Ramana Maharshi was the person who established himself in Tiruvannamalai in that Jnana Sthiti. And people used to come from all over and he would give the nice guidance to them and put them. And his formula was, who am I? Who am I? Is the technique that he used. We had Paul Brunton, one of the greatest of the journalists from Britain, and he was very interested in spirituality. He comes to India to learn more of the spirituality and the realization of the Jnana. And he went round the Himalayas and met many, many great yoga masters, spiritual saints, and he was such a brilliant person. He would ask anybody and everybody cannot answer him. And this went on and on and on. Therefore, somebody said, why don't you go to Tiruvannamalai, meet Ramana Maharshi? So he is very sincere, comes all the way to Tiruvannamalai, and that day, reaching there, he asked the manager of the ashram, I want an appointment with Ramana Maharshi. Then he says, no need for appointment. Tomorrow morning you come, 8 o'clock, we have got a meditation session. Ramana Maharshi will be there and all people will come. Come and join. After that you can meet him. Next morning he prepares himself that when I am going to interact, what is the first question I ask? I ask this question. If he answers like this, I will ask this question, this question, this question, and then he is gone. If he answers this way, I will go this way. Complete chess. Like he had planned himself. So Paul Brunton came in the morning, and in the ashram, Ramana Maharshi was sitting in that serene silence, and all the devotees were also in that state of Jnana. And Paul Brunton started thinking as to how he is going to ask the first question and the next question and the next question. He was trying to remember everything so that he will not falter when he meets the Ramana Maharshi. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, his mind started becoming calm and silent, and half an hour, 40 minutes, he started feeling something very serene, silence. 50 minutes, 55 minutes, wonderful, blissful, serene silence he started feeling. And at the end of 1 hour, when the meditation session was over, Ramana Maharshi opens his eyes and all the other devotees go away, and he calls Paul Brunton, and Paul Brunton says that I have no questions. Did he get all the answers? He understood that silencing the questions is the dimension. When all his questions were occurring at the intellectual level, and you will not get the answer. He has to transcend the intellect. He has to go to the source from where the questions arise. This is what he understood. And with a little teaching by Ramana Maharshi, he starts getting in that real dimension of going beyond the intellect. So therefore, when you transcend the intellect, you go into that silence, you go into that Ananda Sthiti, and that is the whole growth process. So in this schematic, we have been able to show the complete spectrum of Jnana Yoga. How we start with Shravana, then Manana, then Nididhyasana, leading to Jnana. Then the Jnana has to be stabilized to make it as the Sthita Prajnatva. This is also known as the Jivan Mukti. That is, getting relieved from all the bondages even while we are alive. Those are the states of great personalities like Ramana Maharshi and many others. Then we have the advanced Jnana Yoga, in which you start fathoming the higher laws of the whole creation. And that is often called as the Siddha Sthiti. And when the Jnana stabilizes and you start fathoming the higher and higher laws of the whole creation, your Jnana is going to increase. Your knowledge is going to increase. And there is going to be a quantum jump in the knowledge, in the bliss, in the powers, and the such great Jnanas start getting great supernatural powers. And our country is known for such great personalities, not only the epic characters like Sri Rama or Krishna, but every state in our country had such great personalities who came back again and again to establish these higher dimensions of Jnana. We had Shankaracharya from Kerala, we had Swaminarayan from Gujarat, Sant Gnandev from Maharashtra, we had Allama Prabhu, Raghavendra Mahaswamigal from Andhra and Karnataka, we had a large number of Siddhas from Tamil Nadu, we had great Hatha Yoga masters from Madhya Pradesh, and Lahari Mahashaya, Yukteswar Giri from West Bengal, and here we had in Punjab Guru Nanak, the great personalities. In Kashmir we had Kashmiri Shaivism and great personalities. And that's why this country is not just a Punya Bhumi, but it is a Divya Bhumi of such great person. What is that state in which people get into higher powers and Siddha Sthiti and use all those powers for the good of the society? We are Santa Gnandev, known for such great Jnana Sthiti, in which he dwelled all the time in that Jnana, and he had expanded his whole consciousness to such great heights you would get. And as you know, in his life, the scholars and the pandits wanted him to prove his Jnana Sthiti. And what are the test they gave? He should see that a buffalo will chant the Vedas. Almost all the scholars and the pandits there were very, very clear that it's impossible. But what happened? Sant Gnanadev goes and caresses the buffalo and starts doing that, and the buffalo start chanting the Vedas. Is it ever possible? According to science, it's impossible. But this is the higher dimension of consciousness. Similarly, even in the Hatha Yoga, people get such supernatural powers. Changladeva was known for his great achievements in the Tantra and also in the Hatha Yoga master. He was having complete control on even the wildest of the animals, and he had the power to raid over the tiger and the lions. And he had heard about Sant Gnanadev. So he wanted to meet him and show his great powers. So he started coming, raiding on a lion. Sant Gnanadev knows. And he was just sitting on a compound wall with his sister. And Changaladeva comes, raiding the lion, showing his valor and great siddhis that he had done. As he starts moving towards Sant Gnanadev, with a beautiful smile, he is looking at him. He understands how he is now arrogant and his thing has to be done. So the whole compound wall starts moving towards him. And Changaladeva is floored. He comes and does salutations to Sant Gnanadev and says, "So good, you are my teacher, and you have removed my ego, my arrogance from me." And from then he becomes humility personified. So such are the great masters in our country who demonstrated the advanced Jnana Yoga that we are talking. And at the end of their life, they leave the body with complete voluntary control over themselves. Two types of things they do. The first one is they are sitting there and they completely merge with that and get away from the Sahasrara Chakra and merge with the totality. The body is just left as it is, and this is the Ichha Maranatva they do. The second way in which they leave the body, they just at the time of death, they keep this body, and this body is completely transformed into Pranamaya Kosha. So you find that the body completely vanishes and gets into the Pranamaya Kosha, then Pranamaya Kosha expands to Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha, and merges with the totality. And that is the process of divinization of the body which Sri Aurobindo talked about. The body gets divinized. The gross physical body featured by the Pancha Bhutas get transformed into the Panchatanmatra, the subtle form of the five bodies of the Pranamaya Kosha, then goes into the Manomaya Kosha and merges with the totality, and you find the person is no more there. These are the two ways by the great Jnanis leave their body and merge with the totality. And that is the thing called as the Moksha Sthiti. That is the Videha Mukti. The freedom when they leave the body, that's what happens. So Jivan Mukta becomes the Videha Mukta when he reaches the highest. So that is the state of moksha, infinite freedom, infinite knowledge, infinite power, infinite bliss. And that is our original state. That is the state from where the whole creation has come. So this is the whole spectrum of Jnana Yoga. Starting with Shravana, then Manana, questioning and questioning, Nididhyasana, the contemplation, searching inside, deep contemplation, and getting the flash of Jnana. That is the realization. And then you have to stabilize that realization to make it as a Sthita Pragnatva, a state of Jivan Mukti. and then go further to understand and fathom the higher laws of the whole creation. That is, various levels of deeper and deeper levels of Jnana Sthiti or consciousness sthiti, in which their bliss will increase hundredfold, thousandfolds and million folds, and their whole body gets transformed, get into the higher and higher laws of supernatural powers, Anima, Mahima, Garima, all types of Ashtasiddhis will start coming up. They use all this power for the good of the society. That is the advanced Jnana Yoga. And then at the time when they want to leave the body, by will, they either transform this body completely from the Annamaya Kosha to Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnana, Anandamaya Koshas, or just leave the body through the Sahasrara and merge with totality. And this is the whole journey that have been carved out through our Prasthanatraya in the Upanishads, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Brahma Sutras, and that knowledge base is available to us to get into the Jnana Sthiti. So what is it that we have to do? Jnana is the one that removes the Ajnana. Jnanagni dagdha karmanam. Avidya has to be removed. Wrong notions have to be removed. And you reach that real truth and bring about the transformation. That the dimension of Jnana Yoga that we have planned out, that we see in our great scriptures, and if only we can bring this Jnana to our life, then you solve all the challenges that we face today in the modern era of science and technology. So therefore, in conclusion, we have the four streams of yoga: Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, and all these lead to the same goal. Whether you work with the intellect and the power of discrimination, or work with the emotions, or work with the action phase, or work with the willpower, all lead to the same goal, said Swami Vivekananda. Do it by work or worship, philosophy or psychic control, by one or two or all of these, and be free, he said. And let's all continue our journey and see that in our own path we specialize, go deeper and deeper and deeper to achieve great heights. Dhanyavad. Thank you.